I have my course outline page here, and I want to add some visual appeal. It's a little boring right now with just text and a white background. So over here on the right, you can see I've added a little bit for the instructor. And what I want to be able to do is, begrudgingly, put a picture of myself on the page here underneath my name. So in the markup, I've got my name here with a break, and underneath that, I simply want to put an image. So I'll use the image tag, and I'm going to apply the source, and here I'm going to apply a relative path to the image on the server. So we'll do image source, and I'm also going to supply an alternate. And this is a required attribute, and again, this is so that if the browser can't render the image or the client is visually impaired and can't see it, there's some alternate representation of that image. We'll save that, and that image I'm referring to is just sitting right out here. So there's the mat.jpg. If we look, that's right up on my desktop, so we can go up to the desktop. That's where the file is that I'm working with, so the relative path goes into images and finds that file. If we refresh then, you can see that right where I wanted it, the image appears, but I've got a problem. One, my image is way too big, and two, it's going way off the page and shows in way too much detail the gray in my beard there. We'll pretend that's frost. So this isn't working out for me. This isn't going to be a good layout for my page. So let's go back in here, and we can apply now some height and width information to this, so I can get it down to a size that actually fits. So we'll do a width of 125, save, refresh, and now if we scroll back up, now that's a little better. So it fits into the page. Now it's in there. We've got a nice visualization that's not thrown off and out of the screen. However, we do still have a problem. Let me pull up the tools here, and let's refresh this page. I'll show you two things. What you'll see, if I pull up the developer tools in Chrome on the network tab, is it's going to show me the information it's pulled down and all the requests that were being made. So you can see we made an HTTP GET request for the HTML page itself. It means the browser requested the page and got that back. And we can see that the content size was just under 5 kilobytes and took about a millisecond to load. What happens when the browser sees the image tag is it then goes out and requests the image file as well. So we get the markup first. When it sees the image tag, it goes to request that image file. And we can see now that it's pulled down the image/JPEG. We've got that there. This is about 137, 138 kilobytes and took about 2 milliseconds. Now that's not too big, but it's bigger than it needs to be. I've shrunk down the image in terms of its visual size, but I'm still taking the hit for having to pull down that entire image. Now here I'm local, I'm going against the file system. There was no visual indication that that was slow, but if I'm on a mobile device or a phone, every image that you put on the page really counts. So let's go back now to our document, and we'll change this, and rather than use the large image, we'll use the small image here, and I can still apply the height and the width. In this case, I'll even make it bigger. I'll say 185. And for the width, we'll do 200. And now if we refresh, you see I've got the smaller file. Now it's less than 20 KB, and it's coming back in there. It's still the perfect size for what I need in there, but it's a lot less resources in terms of the client experience. So you can use the sizing in terms of the height and width here, but don't use it to crop down a picture where the file size is way too large. Take those images, take the time to size them correctly for what you're going to use them for, get them down to a small size so they're optimized for the web, and then use the height and width simply to get the right optimization in terms of the visual layout, look, and feel. The last thing I'll mention is that, of course, here I used a relative URL to point to an image file that was along with my content. You can use an absolute URL where we put HTTP and the server name and the full path. What you have to be careful with there is that that image is going to remain there. If I put a little error in my path here, we'll see, if we refresh, what'll happen is you're going to get the broken image link. You'll see the alternate text here, but that image isn't going to appear. So if you don't own the image, obviously there's copyright and rights issues, but also if somebody moves or renames the image, your page may be broken, and unless you go and look at it or scan it in some way, you won't know that. So fix that. Look once again. And we'll notice here that because I have the visual image displayed, I don't need the alternate, but when it breaks or if there's another client rendering it, then they can pull in the alternate text as well.